Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Welcome to our Westchester Weekly Update. Today is Monday, July 31st, halfway through the summertime months, and we're happy to give you an update on some of the issues that are affecting us here in Westchester County. We expect a fairly short report. The summertime is a time where people sort of focus their activities into recreation and vacation time, but the county government still goes on with certain activities and things that we want to share with you. In a few minutes, I'm going to introduce our guest speaker for today, who's our municipal partner, the town supervisor of the town of Pound Ridge, Kevin Hansen. Kevin is head of a town of 5,200 people in the northeastern corner of the county. Beautiful setting. A lot of famous people live there, including Kevin Hansen, and we're very happy to have him give us an update on what's happening in that community. We're also going to be joined in a few minutes by our first Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Facilities, Lou Vitrone, who is going to talk about the implementation of a groundbreaking piece of legislation that was sponsored by two prominent members of the Board of Legislators who will also be here for that, Legislator Erica Pierce and Legislator and Vice Chair of the Board, Nancy Barr. And they'll talk about this piece of legislation which passed, I signed into law, and now we implement it, which will reduce the amount of plastics in our waste stream, obviously very important. I'll be joined by Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins, who'll give us the latest update on our free BLine buses, and I'll cover all the park stuff that are going on. There's plenty of things that are happening in our parks. And then also a special dedication that we have at the end of the week, a rededication to honor veterans, particularly veterans from World War I. Who will be once again re-honored here in Westchester County. But more of that in a few seconds. First, we'll go to our municipal partner. As you know, that every one of these updates, we invite one of the mayors or supervisors from one of our communities to join us here to talk about their community. There are 45 incorporated municipalities in Westchester County, 6 cities, 19 towns, and 20 separate villages. So there's enough to last us a whole year. And when we invite the supervisor or the mayor to come in, it's really their time to talk about whatever's a priority for them, and each one takes on different issues as they see fit. The important thing for you to understand, if you don't live in this community this week, is Pound Ridge, how diverse Westchester is, how many different parts of Westchester are attractive to people to live, and then also to come to enjoy the dining in their communities, to shop in their communities, to go to the parks and the various services. And this county is one in which we can get around relatively easily. You just have to get over the mindset when you look at a map, something looks like it's far away from you. It's actually much closer than you think. I've been proving that over the last 5.5 years, that it's not that far from Peekskill to Pelham, even if sometimes I don't act like it is. The bottom line is we're very happy to have Kevin Hansen with us here. A beautiful town of Pound Ridge has selected him now, I think, 3 terms deep as town supervisor. Kevin, please join us, and thank you again for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, I always enjoy the opportunity to come in and promote Pound Ridge. I mean, Pound Ridge where's the only place that you can put a John George restaurant and a Pete Dye golf course together. And that's what we have here. People don't realize that we have such tremendous assets up here in that part of Westchester County and Pound Ridge. And I just enjoy it. But one of the things I wanted to promote here today is that this year marks our 50th anniversary of our conservation board. We were one of the first ones to put a real conservation board together. And, it's been 50 years. And one of the unique parts about that conservation board is that 50 years ago, they expected the town of Pound Ridge to have a population of 5,600. Today, we have 5,200. So Pound Ridge is pretty much the same as it was exactly 50 years ago. And so as a result, it's a great spot. It's got a lot of open space. It's a great community to live. It's got a new vibe of community in there. There's been a refresh of the business district where we've spent a lot of time coming in, cleaning up the business district, cleaning new sidewalks, street lights, and even more attractively, we recently took a gas station that was in the middle of the business district and have now turned that into a nice little pop-up, little pocket park that we call the Village Green. And again, it's a really creative idea about how to take something that most would consider to be like a wasteland area that's really hard to develop, and here we've turned it into a real asset that's now right into the middle of the business district. So I encourage you all. There's a lot of community events up there in the fall. We're probably best known for the Harvest Fest. Last year, who'd we have there? Jim Bloss was the year before, and oh God, I had it on the top of my head a minute ago. Last year, I'll think of it as soon as I walk out the door. But they haven't announced who their main. Who is it now? Now you got me all confused. But they'll be announcing that soon. And so I encourage everybody to come on up, come to Pound Ridge, enjoy Pound Ridge as much as possible. Again, it's a great town, 500, approximately 50 miles of trails for people to enjoy. So come on up. So thank you. And thank you for letting me promote Pound Ridge here.
Thank you, Kevin. Town Supervisor Kevin Hansen. I don't know if you realize we don't edit this, so it's what you see is what you get. But Kevin and the members of the town board were very appreciative of their leadership. We've worked with them closely. Ward Pound Ridge Park, which is our largest park in Westchester County, is partially within Pound Ridge. It has the Pound Ridge name attached to it, and it's a beautiful place. And of course, it creates some stress on the local government, so we've been able to work cooperatively over the years. Thank you, Kevin, again for your time. Next, we want to talk a little bit about a piece of legislation, but to give you a sense within government, I know most people don't really want to get into details of government. We talk oftentimes about the two branches that you see all the time, the executive branch and the legislative branch. There's a judicial branch, and they set apart from the things that we do. But in the legislative branch, you identify ideas and issues, and you craft legislation, which can become law with the signature of the executive. And the vision for the law often comes from how legislators, and I was one for 30 years, interacts in the community. Ideas that come up, that come out of everyday contact with people who are out in the real world, as you would say. But then the challenge, once the law is passed, is to implement it, to make sure that the principles of the law actually become a practical reality to it. And that's what this conversation is about today. Erica Lang-Pierce, who is completing her first term as a member of the Board of Legislators, and Nancy Barr, who's completing her third term as a member of the Board of Legislators, she holds the title of Vice Chair, together crafted a piece of legislation which really addressed one of the key issues that we have, which is the throwaway society that we have, and the amount of plastic, small plastics that aren't easily recyclable from our waste stream. And so they came up with a wonderful idea, good law, we passed it, and now how do we implement it? So the implementation falls to our Department of Environmental Facilities, which handles not just our sewer treatment, but our waste disposal processes. And Lou Vitrone, who is the first Deputy Commissioner of that department, is tasked with his colleagues, Melissa Rotini, and of course the head of the department, Vince Kopicki, who's the commissioner, to come up with how do we make this work so that the good idea becomes good reality. So let me invite Legislator Pierce and Legislator Barr to stand on either side here, and Lou Vitrone to join us at the microphone, talk a little bit about the plans for implementation. Then I'd like both legislators to comment thereafter and have a chance to share in the success of their achievement. Lou?
Thank you, County Executive. So every year, about an estimated 40 billion items of single-use plastic utensils end up in the waste stream in the United States alone. 40 billion items, think about that. So people do, when it comes to these items, many people practice what we call wish cycling. And they'll include plastic utensils, plastic foodware, condiment packets in their recycling containers in the hopes that it gets recycled. It's plastic, right? Well, as the county executive said, these items are so small and narrow that when they end up at recycling facilities like our Material Recovery Facility, or MRF, in Yonkers, they're so small that they fall through conveyor belts. They are not picked up by optical sorters and recycling sorting equipment. And unfortunately, they end up in the trash. They don't get processed at these facilities, and they end up being rejected and going into the garbage. But fortunately, as the county executive said, Westchester County is taking significant steps through new legislation to address this and to reduce the amount of single-use plastic items in our waste stream. And this law, under this new law, beginning in September, food service establishments in Westchester County are no longer able to provide single-use plastic foodware or condiment packets unless specifically requested by a customer. And this pertains to plastic forks, knives, spoons, chopsticks, container lids, container sleeves, straws, and of course condiment packets. And the law's in effect whether the customer orders in person, over the telephone, online, or through a delivery app. Even when a customer requests to have these items, they must be provided, under the new law, they must be provided individually They can no longer be packaged together and given to a customer in a complete package. They have to be requested, and then they have to be provided individually. The law also prohibits food service establishments in the county from distributing plastic stirrers and plastic splash sticks. So those can no longer be distributed by food service establishments in Westchester when the law takes effect in September. Inspectors from the Department of Environmental Facilities and the Department of Health will be working with food service establishments throughout the county to ensure compliance with the new law. Under the new law, the food service establishments will be required to post clearly legible signs indicating that single-use plastic foodware and condiment packets are available upon request. During the first 6 months after the law becomes effective in September, those first 6 months, there won't be any fines issued. Inspectors will be issuing warnings to ensure compliance with the law and to promote the knowledge of the law among the food service establishments. But after 6 months, they may issue fines for those that are not complying with the law. I should also mention that under the law, hospitals, healthcare facilities, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, rehabilitation facilities, they may continue to package single-use plastic items for their patients to comply with health and safety protocols. So this law should go a long way and make significant steps in reducing the amount of single-use plastic utensils and condiment packets that we're finding in the waste stream.
All right, well, thank you so much. I am legislator Erica Pierce, and this legislation started with my colleague and I, Nancy Barr, who's alongside me. And we could not have asked for better partners than DEF and DOH. So thank you so much for your help, both in terms of crafting this legislation and now, of course, enrolling the legislation out. Another piece of this important story, for me at least, is how much money this is going to save our businesses. During COVID, the amount of single-use service items exploded because we were all really surviving on takeout, and our businesses needed us to survive on takeout. But that meant the number of these items went astronomically up in our waste stream, and our businesses started to have to pay more and more and more for these items. At the same time, their costs increased. So this is not only going to help us environmentally, it's going to help our businesses financially, it's going to also help us as residents financially because our waste costs will go down. So overall, this is one of those wonderful, rare opportunities where a piece of legislation really is a win-win all the way around. So thank you again for everyone who's been an important part of this process. And I'll turn it over to my colleague to see if she has anything she wants to add.
Thank you so much. I'm Nancy Barr. I'm the vice chair of the board and also the legislator who represents Portchester, Rybrook, and Harrison. And it was my pleasure to work with my colleague here to come up with this law, and also, as was also already stated, the other partners that we've been working with here at the county. The only thing I would add to all of this is that there's another aspect to this that's really great, which is you can still get what you want or what you need. You can still get, those utensils if you need them. You can still get those little packets of ketchup or salt and pepper if you need them. But if you don't, you won't be wasting them or else collecting them at your home in giant, piles. And the nice thing about that is it helps us to remember to be thoughtful about what we use and what we ask for, what we buy, because we so often buy or collect more than we actually need or can use. So this is a good way to get us used to not always just cramming it all in. So I'm really excited about this, and looking forward to working with our local businesses to make this a real success. Thank you.
Well said. Well noted.
So let me thank Lou Vitrone and our legislators, Nancy Barr and Erica Pierce. This program, as I said, came out of a legislative initiative, and there are other legislative initiatives that the Board of Legislators and the administration have sponsored. We have some other environmental bills that are being reviewed in the legislature now. We're hopeful of passage. We passed a truthful disclosure law earlier this year to deal with ethics. We've expanded the ethics board and done some things in that area. So this working relationship is essential. And the working relationship does not mean that there isn't disagreement, there isn't debate, there isn't modification of ideas. That's the normal process of democracy. But at the end of the day, we focus on getting a result, a legislative result that can then turn into an implemented result that everybody can see and experience. So thank you both for the roles you played in this successful thing. Now I'm joined by Ken Jenkins, and we've been talking a lot about our BLine bus system and our transportation, but it's important to understand what an initiative this is, so I want Ken to emphasize that and give us the update.
Thanks, George. And certainly we wanted to take the burden off of taxpayers again this year. So the BLine fares have been suspended from July 1st, and it will go right until September 4th, right after Labor Day weekend for this summer. This fare suspension also applies to the county's paratransit system. This move we're able to make on behalf of all our Westchester residents because of the strong fiscal management, the partnership we have with the Board of Legislators, and the things that we've had happen here in Westchester County, certainly during County Executive Latimer's tenure. From cutting property taxes 4 straight years, ensuring our public safety department's fully funded, this is another way in county government we can improve upon the lives of all the people that we serve. The BLine is Westchester County's bus system serving over 27 million passengers annually, with convenient service connecting residents to jobs, recreation, shopping, and other regional transportation services. It's the second largest bus fleet in New York State, operated by the county's Department of Public Works and Transportation. Over 65% of all Westchester County residents are within walking distance of a BLine bus route, making the bus route both close and convenient. The system has over 3,300 bus stops and almost 60 different routes. All the BLine buses are accessible and designed with many accessibility features, including kneeling buses, ramps, and lifts. In addition, in January this year, January 2023, we completed the purchase of 106 new hybrid buses. And certainly during the last heat wave over the last week, those buses came in handy because they are fully air conditioned. But in addition to that, they have USB ports on them. They also have bike racks on each and every bus. And that makes 88% of our system fuel efficient, one side, but also talking about protecting our environment, reducing those emissions. So 88% of our buses, 106 new hybrid buses, including 6 fully electric buses. The county has continued to be a leader in protecting both the environment, but also working with all the county residents to make sure that they can get around, and hopefully you're getting a chance to enjoy the free buses. I know that we see the buses that are fully packed and moving around the county, but taking advantage of getting to Ward's Pound Ridge, up in beautiful Pound Ridge, or anywhere else in the county. Certainly some folks use it to get to the Veterans concert on the Friday the 21st, but taking advantage to getting over to Playland, to any of the county pools and beaches. Again, this is a fantastic opportunity for that free BLine system, but again, it has so many more things that we're doing to protect our environment. Back to you, George.
And I just want to mention that as we've done this with our BLine bus system, it generates other ideas that are creative. Rytown Supervisor Gary Zuckerman, working with Nancy Barr, the county legislator, made the decision to allow for a free day at the Rytown Park Beach. Now, that beach is open to town residents who live in Rybrook Village, Portchester Village, a portion of Mamaroneck Village, and the city of Rye. But in making that beach available for free on Tuesdays, he was able to work out through Nancy and through our Department of Transportation an extension of our existing BLine bus service, which is free all summer long, to take people directly to the park. It's not normally part of the route. The route usually goes to Playland. But by extending the route, when it manages to a couple of blocks, a person who lives in Portchester or any of the communities can get on a free BLine bus and go and have a free day at the beach, which is a wonderful example of taking on what we've done and then expanding it a notch. Excuse me, and that comes for the town of Rye, and credit the town of Rye Supervisor Gary Zuckerman and credit Nancy Barr for putting those pieces together. So hopefully this is the kind of innovation that we can continue to show. I'm going to take on this week's quick update on our various parks and what's happening. I was just down at Saxon Woods Park earlier today for the continuation of our Reading in the Park program. I was a participant in it a couple of weeks ago at Wilson Woods Park in Mount Vernon. Rosie Finizio from our team has been coordinating it. Today, we happen to have Karen Pasquale from our executive team was there. State Senator Shelley Mayer was there, reading in the park to those kids who were there, those somewhere between the ages of 2 to 6 or 2 to 7 years old. At Saxon Woods, they'll continue to do that tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week, which will take you up to August 3rd. It's from 11 a.m. to 11:45 at Saxon Woods Park. It's in the grassy area right next to the playground. The playground is slightly to your left, and the miniature golf area is slightly to the right. This is the White Plains entrance into Saxon Woods. Saxon Woods has other entrances in Harrison and Scarsdale for the golf course. But it's a great fun thing to do with children. If you're in the area, it's right off the Hutchinson River Parkway, so it's not a long drive from that whole quadrant of Westchester County. It will go indoor in the pavilion if there's bad weather, and it's a read-aloud program aimed at young children being able to develop a love for reading at the early ages of their life. The interactive storytelling will be in English and then also in Spanish as well for the Spanish speakers. It's free admission. Children must be accompanied by an adult guardian, but we're very happy to have this program going, and it will continue next week at Kensico Dam Plaza as we go throughout the rest of the summer. Saturday, August 5th, this coming Saturday, it'll be Family Fun Day Sand Art Competition at Glen Island Beach from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can come in and swim for the day, enjoy the families. Participation is free, admission and parking fees do apply. Westchester County residency is required, and of course it's weather permitting, but it's sand art. So we've now taken just playing in the sand and turned it into something much more formal and much more fun. So we encourage you to do that at our Glen Island Park Beach in New Rochelle. This Sunday, August 6th, from 9:30 to 2:30, and every Sunday through November, not just a summertime activity, we have a farmer's market at Muscoot Farm, Alfred B. Del Bello Muscoot Farm in Somers. It's on Route 100, just south of Route 35 in town of Somers. It's in the hamlet of Katona, easily reachable throughout northern Westchester. And if you come up 684, the Taconic, you can get on Route 35. It's a great farmers market, and there are a lot of great farmers markets out there in Westchester County. On a Sunday, you'll see them in Scarsdale, Irvington, Pelham, New Rochelle, Rye. I know I sound like a Metro North conductor, but the one that we have at Muscoot Farms on a Sunday is fun. And of course, that market supports farmers and other sustainable efforts. There's 20 local vendors or so in the area, and it's a great setting. You're not in just a parking lot of a Metro North station. You're in a beautiful rural setting, and there are the buildings of Muscoot Farms. We've just 2 weeks ago launched a ribbon cut, the new improvements on the building. Erica Pierce was there for that, and it's a nice tie-in. So put that on your calendars on Sundays. Sunday, August 6th, also coming up this Sunday, we have our Heritage of India Festival at Kensico Dam Plaza, noon to 6. Rain or shine, you'll be able to learn about culture from India, art, music, dance, crafts, ethnic cuisine. That's always on my list, the cuisine part. And this is part of our continuing ethnic heritage festivals. We've had them most recently for the Italian-American and the Irish-American community. We've had the Hispanic community, the African-American community, Albanian community, Polish. I'm missing some. There are some that are yet to come before the end of the year. Jewish culture and heritage is upcoming. Muslim heritage is upcoming. And we hope that you're able to do that this coming Sunday, August 6th at Kensico Dam Plaza. This is the Heritage of India Festival. Our South Asian brothers and sisters will be honored for that purpose. Now, I want to caution those of you who've loved getting out on Bronx River Parkway for Bicycle Sunday. This past Sunday was the last of the Bicycle Sundays for the moment. We're taking a break during the month of August, and then we'll restart it on the first Sunday in August after the Labor Day weekend. So if my math is correct, that would be Sunday the 10th of September. And then we'll continue back on the bicycle from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the Bronx River Parkway, but not this weekend nor the weekends in August coming up, but we'll be back Bicycle Sundays in September. We also now want to highlight that we have something else coming up that ties into one of our county parks. We don't think of the Westchester County Center as being county park. It is part of the Bronx River Reservation. And that original brilliant move by our forebears in Westchester County government that obtained that land, was able to build the first limited access highway in the Bronx River Parkway before there was ever Interstate 1, before there was ever Skyline Drive in Virginia or any other parkway you can think of. The Bronx River Parkway was the first, and it was a parkway, a way to get to a park. And that park was Kensico Dam Plaza. That was created after the aftermath of creating Kensico Dam. back at the turn of the prior century. Anyway, at that location, we honored veterans from World War I with plaques around the trees that encircle the basic area of where the Westchester County Center was. And unfortunately, when we went through COVID and we had to turn the county center into a medical facility, vaccinations, there was various testing, antibody testing went there, and we were prepared to use it as a hospital if we needed it. We had to take down all the mature trees around that parking lot, devastate the parking lot out in front, and with it, we collected back the plaques honoring the World War I veterans, and we stored them away. Now that we've restored the center, we have a brand new parking lot out in front of it. We don't have mature trees, but we have trees that will be mature in due time. We are going to rededicate those memorial plaques for those World War I veterans. This is done through our County Veterans Service Agency, Ron Tochi, also done with the help of our Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Department, headed by Kathy O'Connor. And this event is scheduled for this Friday, August 4th at 12 noon. Special ceremony. It will rededicate the 100-year-old memorial to commemorate the fallen World War I soldiers from Westchester County. And for most of us of a certain age, my age approaching 70, we have connections to World War II veterans, direct connections, my parents, my father's generation, Korea War, Vietnam, and then all of the actions that have happened in the Middle East subsequently, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and so forth. Once you get prior to World War II, most of us don't have a direct connection to the people that served in other wars. We've had honored veterans who died during the Revolutionary War here in Westchester County. We have people who fought in the War of 1812, those who served on the Union side to preserve the Union during the Civil War, and also in the Spanish-American War. When I was a little boy, I remember seeing a very old gentleman who was a Spanish War veteran. The World War I veterans were the senior citizens of the day when I was young. All of them have been lost today to memory. But we want to make sure we don't forget those that died during World War I. My grandfather, my mother's father, fought in World War I, and that is not a sacrifice to be forgotten. So we rededicate those plaques coming up this Friday, August 4th at 12 noon at the Westchester County Center, and we're very much looking forward to that ceremony. So once again, as we did with our Freedom Concert a week ago Friday, we keep our veterans in mind, as well as doing all the other things that we do with county government. We have a period of time now through the month of August where our parks, recreation activities really are at the top of the list, but we're getting ready for the new budget year. We have to submit to the Board of Legislators a capital budget by mid-October and an operating budget for 2024 in mid-November, and they have the opportunity to deliberate on those, plus the special districts. And we have within the executive branch, Lou is getting a little gray hair over this, getting ready all of the projections of what we need to do in the future. What do we need to do in capital improvement? We've made a lot of capital improvement. We fixed things that have been broken for a long time. During our tenure here, we want to continue to do that. That is smart investing of money. In fact, we just saw a report that'll be finalized, which show that we spent less money in 2022 than we had budgeted, and we had more revenue than we had budgeted. So I think we're showing good fiscal management. But with that fiscal management comes taking care of long-term needs. And whether it's in our Department of Environmental Facilities or any of these departments, we must invest capital in order to have something that's valid to us today to be equally valid 20 years and 30 years from now. So that process is going on as we discuss and debate internally, and then as we present it to the board in October, they'll ask their questions, scrutinize it along with the operating budget, and another year will begin once the leaves start to turn and we get close to Thanksgiving. But in the meantime, we thank you for watching. Hopefully give you a little update of what's happening. If you have any questions, you can call us at 995-2900. That's the executive floor. If you want to speak to members of the Board of Legislators, call them at 995-2800. Each of your legislators and their assistants have separate line numbers. You can look that up online on the website. Board of Legislators has a direct website. They're also linked to our westchestercountyny.gov website, and you'll find out more information perhaps than you needed to know, but it's there for you to investigate. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Thank you for watching. Have a good and safe day, and we'll be back next week with the latest updated information. Take care.